Hey Joe fans, I'm JoeFan82 here with some more action figure news. These are new image reveals from the G.I. Joe Collectors Club for some figures that are coming with the final 12 that are being released, I'm pretty sure, first quarter next year. But they are releasing preview images up until the pre-order, which is supposed to happen this month, November. And the latest two figures are... Hold on one second. The first one is for Sonic Fighter Dodger. And this guy, I had this figure, the vintage figure, when I was a kid. Great figure. The vintage figure was a repaint of the vintage Version 1 Dodger. And this guy looks really good in my opinion. He's got, looks like a great paint job. They replicated the vintage Sonic Fighter pretty well. And let me show you, if you're not familiar with the vintage guy. Let me see, here he is. So this is the new one, and this is the old one. So as you can see, really close. They matched up, yeah, all the colors really well. I'll kind of go back and forth here because I didn't put them side by side, but yeah, I think they did a great job. This is, so the new figure is a repaint, basic repaint of the Dodger that we saw in the 2017 Joe-Con set, this guy. And this guy looks, I don't have him, but he looks like a good figure, very reminiscent of the Marines from Aliens. That's what I think of anyway. So yeah, he's looking pretty good. Looks like, I'm not sure if the weapons are the same as the figure from the Joe-Con set. It looks like he's got a different gun there. But yeah, pretty decent looking figure. Let me check the chat to see if we have anyone. Hey, Benny and Big Easy are here. Yeah, Dodger looks great. Looks great to me too. Benny likes repaints. I like repaints too. I like what repaints are, well, so repaints from the company's viewpoint are a way to maximize profit with little expense, you know? But from a collector or even a kid, a repaint is a great way to get a figure that you missed out on earlier. So I was able to get versions of figures in the late 80s and early 90s that I never would have gotten otherwise because they were released before I entered G.I. Joe. So yeah, I would have to say I'm a fan of repaints as well. So that is the new Sonic Fighter Dodger that we'll be seeing at some point from the Collectors Club. And there was one other figure reveal, which I'm pretty sure they released this next one before. I feel like they did, and then it was silenced for a few months, and then they started releasing all of these. So if anyone else feels the same way, it's kind of like that, like weird, like deja vu kind of thing, like we're in the Matrix or something, you know. I feel like I've seen this before. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the new Sonic Fighter Viper. This is a Cobra Viper. Looks like another basic repaint of the modern Viper figure, which is a great figure. I'm a big fan of it with or without the chrome faceplate. It looks a little better with the chrome, but altogether a fabulous figure. And this guy is a pretty faithful adaptation of the vintage Viper here. So here is the vintage Viper, and I wanted to show you, sorry, you guys can hear me. I wanted to show all of the stuff that the vintage figure came with. So he came with his Sonic backpack that you see there, which looks like a really good mold. He came with the two guns you see him holding, plus the additional armament there next to him. So really quite an arsenal that the vintage figure came with. And then you look at the new one, and it looks like they tried their best to replicate what he came with vintage-wise outside of the Sonic backpack, obviously. Let me check the chat real quick. It looks like you guys are... Big Easy says, trying to play Kirby on NES with my youngest and do this too. Well, thanks for trying to multitask with us tonight. Diego Borges says, I'm a bit tired of these repaints. So it's, we've got some people big fan of repaints. Next person, I don't like, not so much. They could do figures not yet with modern versions. Astro Viper, for example. Yes, well, you're right that that's what we would like. That would probably be ideal. However, that things like that might require additional tooling, which would be another expense. And since this is the Collectors Club last hurrah, they're trying to do everything they can with the least amount of expense. So repaints were the way to go. And I think they've done a good job with what they've had, at least from these images. All these images could look fantastic, but then the figure is not great. The most famous example that I know personally of is Salvo from, was it 2 years ago? Figure looked great, but in hand he had trouble standing up, which was a big point against it. So all of these images, you just gotta, they may look great, but you really can't tell how good the figure is going to be until you have them in hand. Except for in the case of repaints, if the original figure is really good, odds are the repaint's going to be good too. If, all they're doing is changing some paint colors. But when they're doing mixing and matching parts, that's when it gets a little questionable. I'm trying to scroll down on these comments. There we go. Okay. Biggie says, I love the look of his weapons. Yeah, the Viper's weapons, I think they did a really good job here in what they're including with him. So he's got another gun there on the stand. I can't really even tell what that is. Yeah, he comes with a lot of accessories. Hey, Matt, you made it. Yeah, I'm just doing this is a real quick, most of these figure reveal images, our live streams are going to be pretty quick. But he says, that's a solid figure. Yeah. Big Easy, love the channel. Thanks, Big. Yeah, you've been pretty regular on my live stream, so I appreciate it. Thanks for shouting me out. Hey, if you guys are on Twitter, why don't you check out Big Easy. Big Easy, why don't you put your Twitter handle there in the chat? He's quite active on Twitter. He does a lot of art drawing with G.I. Joe. So why don't you check him out if you have the chance. So was that all I had for the Viper? So you get the new Viper, and if you missed it, this was the vintage one. Looks like they came really close with the paint scheme, at least from this image, and that red faceplate is there. This would be great as an army builder. However, with these club figures, it's pretty difficult to army build these guys, with them being exclusive figures and all. It's kind of a shame, because you kind of wish that they saved figures like this for retail, but there's no retail presence, so I think you guys know what I mean. Yeah, so on Twitter, Big Easy's handle is @77_Big Easy. So check him out if you're on Twitter. So yeah, these are the latest 2 figure reveals, and just wanted to share that with you guys. So we're counting down. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can figure out how many figures we have left here. Hold on a second. Let me read. So on the club website, they have a description for the Cobra Viper, the new Sonic Fighter version. He says, Cobra Vipers are the frontline battlefield infantry fighters. If there's a dirty job that requires the use of knockoff imitations of sonic or laser weaponry, they're ready to go barrel to barrel against the G.I. Joe team. And the description for Dodger reads, with his invaluable field experience using laser-guided weapons, Rich Dodger Renwick is now part of the Sonic Fighters and ready to use his high-tech equipment against the forces of Cobra. Yeah, so the vintage figures that these guys are based on came out in 1990. Just to give you some concept of when the vintage ones came out. And these were, was this, yeah, so the last two figures we saw, Falcon and Road Pig, the vintage figures were from the Super Sonic Fighters, and this Viper and Dodger are from the Sonic Fighters, which was before Super Sonic Fighters. So there was Sonic Fighters and then Super Sonic Fighters. The basic difference is that Sonic Fighters had backpacks which made noise, sound effects. The Super Sonic Fighters had sound effects and lights. They had little lights in there, so that made them super. So let me just real quick go on here and see if I can look up how many of the final 12 we have left. Give me 1 second here. We don't have many, that's for sure. And pre-orders are, they've been saying pre-orders start in November. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. That's 6. Hold on, I'm just looking at how many I've. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like we have 4 figure reveals left for the final 12 that are coming from the Collectors Club. So I'm guessing those 4 will come out this next week. That's my guess. And then either the end of this coming week or the following week is when pre-orders will go up. That's my opinion. So yeah, if you haven't joined the club and you're interested in any of these figures, my advice is to join now so that you're able to get them, because that will probably be the cheapest way to get them. The secondary market's probably going to be pretty high. I'm guessing these will be in much lower numbers than the previous figures. So that's my opinion here. Let me check the chat one more time before I head out. Matt Ludy says, I'm new to this modern stuff, so can you tell me how long is it typically between getting the images and then the figure release? I think for these figures, they're going to come out within the first few months of 2019, but they haven't released that officially yet. I think in the past it's been about 8 months. So let's see, November, December, January, February, March. I would say the beginning, at least within the first half of next year, I would think. So, but I could be wrong. Benny says, we have to make the noises ourselves. Well, I think we've been doing that for a while. Anybody with a modern figure, pew, pew. Big Easy, secondary market, very expensive. Much like Super 7 product price gougers on the secondary market. Yeah, if any of you guys are He-Man fans like I am, I'm a big He-Man guy. He-Man was my first action figure as a kid. Will always have a soft spot for He-Man. And I was really interested in getting, when I heard about the Classics line, Masters of the Universe Classics, they looked pretty good and I was interested in getting them, but the way that they were selling them was just stupid, in my opinion. You had to, they were releasing it online only, and you had to be there on the site ready to order right when they were released, and you had to do it soon before they sold out. And I was there, very first one with He-Man, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it in time, and that was it. I think the very first one was like He-Man and Skeletor and maybe one or two others. But you missed then, and then the secondary market was through the roof on those. And if you don't have He-Man or Skeletor, why would you want all the others without the main two characters? I do like how Super 7 has, at least they do pre-orders now, so you're at least, if you have the funds available to purchase, you can go ahead and do that. So yeah, I understand what you're talking about, Big Easy. It's quite a shame. So yeah, so guys, that was my look at the latest 2 figure reveals from the Collectors Club. Stay tuned. I'll be covering the last set of figures, which should be coming out this next week. Figure reveals for those. So I'm gonna go ahead and Big Easy is still rather stupid how they sell them. I'm still waiting on my Laughing Prince Adam. Yeah, Laughing Prince Adam was I believe an SDCC exclusive figure. They could just sell the head separately, and you could put the head on it if you have an existing Prince Adam. That'd be a lot cheaper, huh? All right, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.